Alright, who turned on some ruin today to see some violence and gambling? Who's here for dog murder and enslaved zoolinguists with dead parents? Who showed up for organized crime, dog fights, rat races, kidnappings, drinking, smoking, pickpocketing, and sexually ambiguous alligators? Well, man, you are in the right place because All Dogs Go to Heaven is basically a nightmare. The second you read the movie title, you pick up on the fact that under no uncertain terms are there gonna be some dead dogs. I'm Whitney Van Laningham, and today I'm ruining All Dogs Go to Heaven. Okay, so the movie opens up with Charlie B. Barkin trapped in jail and Itchy using mining tools to rescue him. We later find out that the other dogs call this place Death Row, which must mean that the New Orleans City Pound was a 24-hour kill shelter back in 1939. Awesome. Itchy hits the main water vein with his puppy sledgehammer and wakes up all the murder-hungry veterinary technicians who guard the place with semi-automatic laser weapons. Security shoots at them, but thankfully Charlie and Itchy find a hole in the fence and escape. I love that the logo for the film pops up right in the middle of rapid gunfire, intention to kill two puppies.
You're such a grouch.
Down at the bayou, us humans who can read notice that something's amiss when we see Charlie's name scribbled out from the casino sign. Ruh-roh. Inside the casino, there's also a racetrack for speedy little mice, looking to win their bettor's first prize. The race caller in this instance is a fast-talking, chain-smoking mutt dangling from the ceiling in a bucket, so, off to a good start. In the most solid racing move of all time, Squad Car the runty little black rodent climbs on top of one of the other mice's backs and straight up rides him towards the finish line. If you pause the movie when the dogs are cheering all the rats on, you'll notice that nearly all of them are drinking either a human beer or smoking a human cigar. Just regular dog stuff. Squad Car wins the race, but at what cost? All of his friends get dumped down a sewer pipe and into some cages. So they're forced to compete in a very strenuous race and then forced into locked cages where they will stay until the dogs decide they need a little Friday fun. God, being an animal in the 30s must have been bleak. If you pause it again after the race, you'll see a bunch of dogs getting shih tzu'd faced at the bar again. The one who face plants into a dog bowl full of beer really speaks to the inner me.
Ooh, bad meat.
Oh, that's just so mean. That little chihuahua bet on Sidecar and all he got was a lousy piece of rotten meat. Come on, man. You could do better dumpster diving than getting your puppy chow from these bimbos. You obviously have a gambling addiction if you don't mind getting rotten steak as a payout. Did you see that? That rat's drinking beer! This is a derby, not a chugging contest! Come on! You're losing one of these mutts a T-bone! Anyways, Charlie and Itchy show up at their old spot and are immediately met with confusion from every dog who thought that Charlie had already been euthanized at the kill shelter. Note to self, if you ever enter a gambling den and everyone inside acts like you're a walking dead man, maybe it's time to get the hell out of town. Wait, is that dog a straight up sex worker? I mean, good for her. Get your money in whatever way makes you feel powerful. But isn't this movie supposed to be for 8-year-olds? Guess it's never too early to learn about the world's oldest profession. Before Charlie literally rolls them bones, you see a little doggy bowl beneath the slot machine that says Bert. That's because Charlie was voiced by Burt Reynolds. If you're too young to know who that is, Burt Reynolds is a guy who posed fully nude in Cosmopolitan magazine in 1972, and also starred in this movie. He did other things too, but I'm not here for Smokey and the Bandit. I either want to see Burt Reynolds fully nude or playing a dead dog. Not both at the same time, because that would be disgusting.
Tell him.
Oh, you can't keep a good dog down.
No, sir.
And so begins inarguably the best song in the movie, You Can't Keep a Good Dog Down. I used to think that this was a harmless little ditty about rising to the top as the underdog, defeating any obstacle in your path, but nah. This song's about how Charlie's gonna definitely keep being a gambling, womanizing sleazeball. My favorite part goes,
It's hard to buy, but even I've been jilted by a skirt.
He lied.
"Now see here, dollface, those dogs back up there tried to stick me in the big house and carry me out in a Chicago overcoat. Get me a cup of dog soup while we wait for the triggermen to show up with their gats. Then I'll really show you the old 1-2. If you want to know what any of that means, ask any old person!" Honestly though, I gotta give it to them. Itchy's a really good hype man for Charlie. Until he puts on his best impersonation of Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's. That's racist, yo. What would a drunken bar song be without a cracked keg of beer to shell out every dog a pint? Apparently, free hooch is not what upsets Killer over here the most. It's the fact that Charlie is still alive. Carface is not gonna be happy about this. And that's because Carface is a psychopathic bulldog with a penchant for murder and torture. Also, time out, but Carface is the laziest pun. Oi, Donnie, what are we gonna name the evil dog? How about Carface? You know, like Scarface, but with cars, cause, dogs love chasing cars. Perfect! For some reason, Carface also lives in a room inside the sewer that's decked out with a disco ball, a jukebox, and an old two-seater jalopy. We find out almost immediately that he tried to bump off Charlie because he was sick of splitting their gambling ring 50-50. Charlie is completely unaware of this, and instead of, running for his life the hell away from that rat race, suggests that the nightclub add some strippers into the mix.
Dancing girls. What do you say?
Obviously, Carface doesn't give a rat's butthole about dancing girls and tells Charlie he wants to split. Personally, I would have freaked out and started a dogfight right then and there, but Charlie's actually pretty chill about being let go from the partnership. He's stoked about his severance package, he doesn't have hard feelings for Carface, and it seems like he's looking forward to getting back out there and starting his own thing. Of course, this children's movie is a goddamn horror show, so Carface decides to murder his former business partner instead. He says it's because Charlie's a liability now that he's out of prison, but actually he's just mad because Charlie's the best goddamn gambler this side of the Mississippi. Let me repeat that for you. This movie is about a dog that gets murdered by a mob boss dog because he's too good at gambling. So, Carface throws Charlie the biggest Mardi Gras he's ever seen, complete with fireworks, dancers, parade floats, and all the booze he can drink. Killer's cronies carry Charlie out of the float, and boy is he hammered. Like Whitney and Chris on a Tuesday afternoon hammered. They blindfold him and set him on the edge of a pier, and then Killer and Carface literally push a vehicle downhill into Charlie. I don't know what's worse, the fact that Charlie thought these pupperinos were his friends, or that Itchy had to watch the brutal, violent murder of his best friend by mobsters. At one point, Killer literally begs Carface to let him be the one to push the car. How is this a kid's movie? No dog in the world can survive being run over by a car and thrown into a lake, so Charlie zooms through hyperspace up to heaven. There he's greeted by a smoking hot whippet, who basically tells him that he can do whatever he wants in the afterlife. Apparently, heaven still runs on Fahrenheit. Who knew? Charlie has, how do I put this, a very adverse reaction to being dead. He immediately wants to seek revenge against that no-good, double-crossing son of a gun Carface, but that's kinda hard to do when you're in a place where you're supposed to be good and loyal. In fact, if you read her Heaven book extra closely, it says, Charlie, a bad dog. Gambler, pickpocketer, low-life bum, dirty double-crosser, blackmail, loan shark, tax fraud, racketeering, extortion, greedy, money-lusting, jaded, deceptive, heedless, wanton, vain, and concerning infidelity, a scoundrel. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't that just my resume? The sexy pink dog tries to distract him from being dead by showing him all of the amazing things in heaven, like jewels and pink clouds and shooting stars, but Charlie decides that this is the exact right moment to seduce her and steal his life watch back so he can rewind it, go back to Earth, and seek vengeance on Carface. Baby girl isn't buying it, and reminds him that back on Earth, there's only used cars and singles bars, the two worst things. Affordable drinks and affordable driving? Damn you, Earth! Of course, Charlie bamboozles her, steals the watch, and leaves her hanging, screaming after him that he can never come back to heaven now that he's escaped. Yeah, who does she think she is? Some bird who can lock him in a cage and tame him? No, sir. This dog's gonna gamble and get drunk and bop squiddles with some ladies. Back at the junkyard, Itchy's having a nightmare that Carface is strangling him. And not like in a yes, choke me daddy kind of way, but in an I'm gonna crush your windpipe with my bare paws kind of way. At first, he thinks Charlie's a ghost because he just saw him brutally killed, but Charlie eventually manages to convince his little buddy that he's still kicking. Charlie doesn't understand how his former partner was able to keep the business alive when he left, so he and Itchy decide to investigate. Turns out Carface's secret gambling weapon is a 6-year-old girl named Anne-Marie, who's been kidnapped by a pack of gambling-addicted dogs and enslaved for her ability to talk to animals. If that doesn't make you want to kill yourself, she's also an orphan. Carface apparently still hasn't died of lung cancer because he's straight up blowing smoke at a little girl, a small animal, and a dog that he keeps as a bumbling sidekick. Turns out that Carface's secret weapon is that this little girl can ask all of her rap buddies to help her predict race champions, and that's how Carface has been cheating his customers out of their gambling winnings. He has a miniature Dr. Dolittle up his sleeve. She's like his neurotypical Rain Man, only instead of counting cars and being kidnapped by Tom Cruise, she's talking to sewer rats and gets kidnapped by two separate lying, swindling canines.
Hurry it up.
I'm sorry.
Now that's a real Sophie's choice. Who would you rather get kidnapped by? A cigar-smoking murder dog who's addicted to gambling, or Tom Cruise in the Church of Scientology? At least if you're living in the sewer, your death from lung cancer or toxic mold poisoning would be swift. For all we know, Shelly Miscavige is still being tortured slowly in the dungeon of the Celebrity Center. If you think it's sad that this little girl is being enslaved and exploited by her captors, you're really gonna love what happened to the voice actress who played Anne-Marie in real life. Judith Barcy, also known for her work on The Land Before Time in the role of Ducky, was brutally murdered by her father before All Dogs Go to Heaven was even released in theaters. Her dad was apparently such a little baby bitch that he shot and burned the bodies of his wife and daughter because his daughter was more financially successful than him. Remind me again why women are the emotionally volatile ones? Anyways, instead of trying to rescue this little girl, Charlie only sees dollar signs. He realizes that he can make 5 times the money that Carface is making if he also kidnaps Anne-Marie and takes her to bet on the horse races instead. Cool, so she's just being bounced around from mangy mutt to dirty dog because literally none of the pupperinos in this movie are cuddly and normal. Why? Even our protagonist is kind of a dickhead. Okay, wait, what is he doing? Is he pretending to drive by standing in front of a projector with a steering wheel and a fan pointing at him? For why? Why are evil people such freaking weirdos? Is he trying to murder his assistant now? Dude, you put on little goggles and a scarf and pretended to drive like people. You're not that tough. That night, Charlie reads Anne-Marie and Itchy the story of Robin Hood, stealing from the rich to give to the poor. Actually, it's just an upside-down copy of War and Peace, but dogs don't know that. Also, I don't think that dogs know the story of Robin Hood either, because he calls the sheriff of Nottingham a bimbo.
This sheriff is a real bimbo. I would say we knock him off and take the gold.
I used to really want to set up a bed for my dog and I in the back of a car when I was little, until I grew up and realized that the feather boa in the front of the car is probably from one of the strippers Charlie wanted to hire for the casino. Anne-Marie says a prayer asking to find a mommy and daddy, and you'd think that that would make Charlie feel just a little bit bad about using her to be a better gambler, but no. First thing in the morning, Anne-Marie and the boys head on down to the racetracks. Thank God that horses and dogs can't understand each other's language, because Itchy keeps threatening to turn all of them into glue. In the meantime, Charlie's trying to talk his new orphan meal ticket into helping Daddy win the big bucks. She's like, "You sound just like the last guy who kidnapped me." And Charlie's like, "Look, bitch, no one's gonna adopt you in that ratty-ass dress. Do you wanna make some money and buy yourself a new outfit or not?" So she talks to the horses, and it turns out that it's the Grand Chahi's birthday, and that he's planning to take the lead.
Yes.
Anne-Marie spots a pair of parents that she likes for her new mommy and daddy, so naturally, Itchy causes a huge scene while Charlie pickpockets the husband. What the hell, you guys? That was her first shot at having a real family. Now she's gonna spend the next few weeks gambling with you losers instead of enrolling in kindergarten and getting some long overdue vaccinations. The game pulls the old 3 kids in a trench coat routine with Anne-Marie and a mustache pretending to be a grown man with a gambling problem. As predicted, the birthday boy wins, and pretty soon Anne-Marie and her 2 swindling, flea-bitten crime dogs are rolling in the Benjamins. Side quest: why are there frog races and kangaroo boxing matches and turtle swimming competitions? What is the social hierarchy here? Dogs race rats, but humans force kangaroos to duke it out? Why aren't the cats running the frog races and the rabbits running the turtle races? Humans can't have this big of a monopoly on enslaving animals and forcing them to compete, can they? Oh God, it's the 30s. Cockfighting probably isn't even illegal yet. Ugh. After taking Anne-Marie on a shopping spree where 0 adult retail employees bothered to ask why a 6-year-old and her 2 dogs had over $6 grand in cash, Itchy builds a new casino for him and Charlie to run. Dude, are you dumb? You literally put a giant neon arrow in the sky to lead Carface straight towards you. Seriously, if you idiots hadn't paid Con Edison $1 bajillion to light up your casino like a Christmas tree at Rockefeller Center, everyone would still be alive. Aw, look! Charlie got the dancing girls! And a full bar! Good for him. Unfortunately, Anne-Marie doesn't give a heck about slutty chorus line girls or all the Jameson she can drink, and threatens to run away if Charlie doesn't agree to help the poor. Meanwhile, back at the sewer, Carface is torturing Killer once again because Charlie's alive and he has the girl. He starts slowly dipping Killer into a pool full of flesh-eating piranhas until Killer yells out that he has a gun. This turns Carface into actual Satan, giving me nightmares that have haunted me well into my late 20s. To make Anne-Marie happy, Charlie whisks her away to a dog orphanage, probably full of his own flea-infested bastard children. I'm not kidding. Who are these dogs' parents, y'all? It's pretty mysterious to me that this border collie is flirting with him and all these little puppies call him Uncle Charlie. Hey, buddy. Instead of delivering a few pizzas, why not pay some goddamn child support? When Charlie's teaching the baby dogs how to share, Anne-Marie finds the couple from the fairground's wallet on the ground. She gets super pissed at Charlie for stealing it and storms upstairs to wish she had some parents some more. That night, Charlie has a terrible nightmare about Doggy Hell. There's a fire-breathing dragon who lords over an army of tiny bat minions that try to tear Charlie apart. He wakes up and immediately tries to find Anne-Marie, but she's gone. I'm sorry, but when I was 6 years old, there was no way in hell I could figure out my way around New Orleans without adult supervision. How is this girl still alive? Somehow, she finds her way to the couple from the racetrack's house. Babe, if you're gonna pick new parents, try to at least stay away from gamblers this time. For some reason, they give her fluffy pink bunny slippers and a fat stack of waffles, but don't offer to change her into one of the 55 new dresses her pony winnings bought her. Why are you still even wearing that sewer dress, dude? Your outfit has at least 35 venereal diseases. Why wouldn't they at least offer to let her take a shower or something? Nobody in this movie is good at taking care of a 6-year-old. Just then, Charlie appears at the window, ready to manipulate and emotionally terrorize our girl with lies again. He convinces her to join him for a few rounds of dice and ponies, and she flees the comfort of her new home and all its snacks. As they're walking through the French market, Killer and Carface light Charlie up with Killer's Han Solo blaster. Where the hell did dogs get a laser gun? Charlie's magic pocket watch protects him, and thank God, because seeing your dog get riddled with bullets would probably scar you for life. Although they escape, Charlie and Anne-Marie fall through the floorboards into Carface's secret monsters part of the sewer. Charlie can't find his watch, but we have bigger problems. Namely, that all of these tiny Skull Island rats are carrying them in cages made from the bones of their previous victims. The rats drop their bone cages onto the Bone Island below, and out pops one of the greatest animated antagonists of all time, King Gator. Who's King Gator? Why, he's only the greatest goddamn drag queen New Orleans has ever seen. Look at how fabulous he is with that septum piercing and that pink feather necklace. And you know he's a diva, because as soon as he hears Burt Reynolds' singing voice coming out of that dog, he knows he's gonna make him a star.
How can you expect me to eat a voice as sumptuous as this?
Instead of eating him, the two sing a beautiful duet about how King Gator wants to make music with Charlie. Honestly, King Gator was the queer representation I needed when I was a kid.
Let's make music together.
Because the stakes weren't high enough already with orphans and murder and cheating at gambling, Anne-Marie gets pneumonia from being dunked in filthy sewer water for the 8 billionth time in her relatively short life. While Itchy is cleaning the bar, Carface's goons violently attack him and light the casino on fire. Dude, that's some real mobster shiz! Charlie takes this opportunity to start yelling about how he never cared about Anne-Marie and that he was using her the whole time. Of course, she overhears the whole thing and runs out into the rainstorm to get away from him. Keep in mind, she still has a fever. Carface kidnaps her, and Charlie has to chase them down to get her back. In the meantime, Itchy starts the bark chain to get the word out to the Wallet family. Anne-Marie is being held captive in a dangling crate, but of course when Charlie shows up, it turns out to be a death trap. Carface's cronies try to take him down, but Charlie beats them up one by one. Thankfully, as Carface is about to drown Charlie, King Gator swims out and saves him. Because nothing in this movie is ever okay, a gigantic oil drum spills into the boat and lights the water on fire. 'Cause why drown when you can drown and burn to death at the same time? Right when Charlie's about to drop into the fiery ocean below, King Gator swims up out of nowhere again and eats Carface, leaving Charlie free to either save Anne-Marie or the pocket watch keeping him alive. come on, he's not that big of an a-hole. He chooses to save the girl and goes down with his watch and the sinking ship.
You can make it! You can make it, kid!
At Anne-Marie's new home, she's all snuggled up in bed with Itchy when all of a sudden hellfire shadows start creeping into her room. Really, guys? This little girl survived her parents dying, getting kidnapped and enslaved by 2 separate gambling dogs, fell into the sewer, got pneumonia, and almost exploded on a fiery boat on the river. Why does she need the fear of hell in her bedroom, too? Whew. Thank God, it's only Charlie, who Satan apparently let out of the hole to say goodbye. That's actually pretty nice of Satan. He seems like a great guy. But right when the demon dragon is about to drag Charlie back to hell, that cute little whippet from heaven tells Charlie that he's welcome back into heaven now that he's sacrificed his own life for his best friend. Okay, shut up. I'm not crying, you're crying! Charlie wakes up Anne-Marie to say goodbye to her and ask her to take care of Itchy for him. And then he tells her he loves her, and then he freaking dies.
You know, goodbyes aren't forever.
Then, goodbye, Charlie. I love you.
Oh God, what an emotional whirlwind. I'm glad Charlie got back to heaven, abs, but I'm also pretty annoyed that Carface was there. He's a murderer! That angel gown should be a straitjacket. I know that all dogs should go to heaven, but can't we just send this one really bad dog to the underworld? Huh, but then we wouldn't have a sequel starring Charlie Sheen. I'm sure we all remember All Dogs Go to Heaven being this dark, but there were definitely some key moments that I almost forgot about, like that Charlie was an escaped convict on death row before he restarted his lucrative gambling career. Good times! For more episodes of Ruined, click to the left of my face, and I'll be back next week to ruin your childhood.